Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the technical trader at detectrader.com. It's the 4th of September. That's Tuesday. These are the charts of the day. Well, it's kind of a mixed day for Wall Street. We were down, we're up, back down again, back up again, and finished negatively, but it wasn't too bad a day. There were many stocks that we followed that did well, and at least we're in the right stocks. AMD, for example, after a pause of 3 or 4 days, consolidating the big run-up and having an very quiet inside day. Yesterday, it popped and exploded today for another 289. That's 11.5%. A mere 192 million shares traded. Huge. And is it overbought yet? Well, I don't like when a stock makes a higher high on a little bit lower volume, but it's pretty heavy volume, so I'm not going to get overly upset. And looking at a long-term time frame, it's important to note, and on the weekly chart, this is a long band of resistance up here. Let's go way back and look at it. Back in that zone, back in 2006, when the stock hit 27.90. So today's high is right up in that area. If we should extend, we might get that stock as high as 31 to 32, maybe 34. I'm not going to predict that. I will say that on a short-term basis, we might see a run at the close to 30 range. But I'm going to tell you right now that having gone from 9 and change to almost 30 and that quickly, a period of time with 5 waves advancing, I would have to say I'm looking to sell, not buy the stock here, although momentum is so strong, who knows where this can take it. For now, the trend is your friend, the trend is up. 100% stop has to be under here. That's about 23.90, but a long way from where it is right now. So we'll keep an eye on it and keep you posted. ARWR may have popped the coil today or wedge. You can see where resistance there might have been taken out slightly. The stock reversed from 14.23 to 15.44, closed just 13 cents off the high. And a nice reversal day. 1.5 million traded. If this is the beginning of a new move and it did close above 50, you obviously have a line of resistance between 17.20 and 17.50 we got to get through. If Arrowhead gets to 17.5, I'm then looking for a stock to ramp to 21.22. Band, well, yeah, I showed you this over the weekend. You saw the pop today. It was up 552 or 12%. Nice day trade. And according to the angle of ascent, the channel top is right above here at 52 3/4, 3. So at some point, we may have to look at that as a little bit extended short term, but looking awfully good in here. BVX broke out with a major burst today, taking it from 520 to 641. Closed 619, up 85 cents or 16%. Volume was the biggest since last September, October in a year. The way it's ramping up, the way it broke out and pulled back and consolidated for 7-8 weeks. This is the beginning of the next leg up to take it to 7.5, in my opinion. CGC, the monster of the midway, along with TLRY, these two marijuana stocks just ramping it up. Another 23.3 million, up 668 or 14.6%. Really nice. There is a target here that I had at 52.3. We reached it today. But you can see from the angle of ascent, if it goes anywhere near the top of this channel vertically, we're looking at 60. 59.60 is my next target. CRON, a big reversal on that article by the Citron article. Boy, did that come back. From a spike low of 8.5 today, back up to over 11, 11.40. My immediate target is 12 3/4. We get to that, we're looking at 14.15. Etsy, up against resistance from the prior spike high in the first week of August when it hit 50.60. Today's high 50.84. If we can ramp here, I'm looking at mid-channel around 57.8. Upward channel, which is a secondary target, would be in the low 70s. EXAS, looking very good. A little 4-day flag broke out. Stock romped another 271, 3.6%. I think it's got more to go, but the angle of ascent here tells me that if it stalls in this area, it's because of this line around 80. Look for 80, then look for a bigger ramp up going forward. INNT, 2 days in a row with big volume, even bigger volume today, up another $1.84, 26% on 5 3/4 million shares. Biggest volume I've ever seen. Now, the only problem I have is this, maybe some resistance around 10.5. So watch this going forward. If tomorrow you see 10.5, it might be time for a pullback. Although, should it ramp up through that, it wouldn't be a shocker if this stock made it all the way up to 18 at one point. I don't think that's going to happen, but we saw that run like that there, and again like that. So we may get an extension into the low teens. JWN on a couple upgrades, and I believe an earnings report did very well after consolidating and broke out. My target, 69.5. Mankind with a monster move today on 52 million shares, jumping 89% and closing near the highs for the day, going away on the upper end of the range anyway. Above resistance, or right at it. And if we gap and follow through tomorrow, I would look for a test of 45 range. We get that, we're on our way to much higher levels. Neptune, beautiful day today. Popping almost 10%, that's 40 cents. And closing at the highest close we've seen in the stock since way back here in 2012. That's a 6-year high. Next target's in the 5.25 range, followed by 6. Up in that zone anyway. Look for a follow through. Good volume today. PetQ broke out of a wedge yesterday, followed through today. Ramped up another 240 or 6%. This long base tells me this is not done, although it may be 1, 2, 3, so we need wave 4 to consolidate it a little bit. And we may at some point see the stock at 48.50. RADA put out as a swing theory today. I like the story. I like the technicals. Long coiling pattern over the last year tells me maybe a setup for a move like it had there into that zone around 6, 6.5, 7. That's what I'm looking for. We shall see if we get it. For now, let's concentrate on making a run at 380. We get through that, we're in good shape. REPH exploded today, up $1.69 to 26.5% on 1.8 million. This is a breakaway gap from a base pattern. At this point, this stock has the legs to run, in my opinion. Looking for 9, 10, and then all the way up there. But for now, let's see if we can get it up to $9 and get some follow through. Roku ramping up again. This is the second highest close we've seen. Today's pop of 371 or 6% tells me we may be headed towards 67.8 range, maybe even 71.2. Stitch Fix looks awesome. Since the breakout and the swing trade recommendation around 30, it's now gone up 14 points to 44, and that was my target, my secondary target. Next target is going to be 49.50 and 55. Sangamo, nice pattern, base breakout. It's been up for 6 days in a row. It's the highest close we've seen on this one since back in April. That's the challenge. Can we test and take out 20.5? We do. 23 and 25 are targets. Square, monster in the midway, folks. Look at this chart. Does it get any better than that? I don't think so. And it essentially has gone from the base pattern around 8.5 all the way to 91, and it's still running. I think it's been up 2 weeks in a row every day, and we may get a spike off, blow off into the high 90s at some point shortly. Next target is, let's call it 98, 99, and then 105, 108. TA, an explosive move, did back off, but it broke out of a major base. It ramped up $1.15 to 26% on 5.7 million. That's the biggest volume I've ever seen in a stock. And eventually my target's 7 plus. A new the Green Organic Dutchman, a marijuana play, fairly new IPO, came back in May. Broke out of the falling channel with a pop and then wedged. And then today exploded, literally exploded out with a massive move of 105 with 24%. Line was 3.25 million. I've never seen that before in the stock. That's the all-time record high volume. Looking for a test of 6, 610, and maybe run at 7.25 or a half. TLRY, well, it can't get much better than this. In 3.5 weeks, the stock has gone up 200%. Is it ahead of itself? You betcha. When the marijuana stock's done, doesn't look like it. Next target, 85, 88, something like that. Twilio, terrific looking chart. The flag was broken. Price resistance was taken out. The stock popped today for 645 or 8%. And it did it with pretty decent volume of 3.7 million. However, the last several months, the rising channel is right there. It either halts it and pulls back, although it doesn't look like it. If this explodes, we could see mid-90s. And lastly, UIS swing trade continues to ramp up another 55 cents or 3% today. 2.3 million traded. Close over 19 at 19.15 with a high of 19.35. This is the top of the channel as well, going back here. But my inclination is that this might not be done. We may get a ramp up to 20 before it pulls back. Folks, that's the charts of the day, and quite a few really good looking charts. Stay tuned. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Let's make some money then. I'll talk to you. Have a good evening. Good night.